My wife died, and now I have a crush on my trans neighbor. I am currently a single father, not by choice. My wife died in a car crash 4 years ago. I was basically raised by my brother who is a trans man after my dad left, so I've been around the trans community for a while. I am comfortable with trans people, I love trans people, and I never really saw myself having trouble asking someone out. But here it goes. 4 years ago, when my wife died, I was at a block party. It was Halloween, my street was closed off, and my wife had made a run to go get some more dry ice for our homemade root beer. She was taking forever and our root beer was getting warmer and less spooky by the minute, so I called her and a paramedic answered. I yelled so loud I scared my children, and my neighbor, a recently out transgender woman, came running over to see what was the matter. I asked if she could look after my kids while I went to the hospital. She said yes, and I spent the night in the ER waiting room until I got the news that she passed. An intoxicated 17-year-old driver T-boned her and I was left with our 2 kids and a whole lot of guilt. Ever since that night though, I've had a great relationship with my neighbor. I didn't know she was trans until about 4 months after this. I waited for her to come out to me. I watched her cats when she got for F's sake out of state. I helped her break up with her dumb boyfriend. I have helped her fix her computer when it acts up, and she is my kid's favorite babysitter. Plus she has given me great advice on how to increase the property value of my home, so I'd call it even. She also asked me out about 2 years ago, but I was still very hung up on my wife's death. I told her no, and I think she took it pretty well. About a year ago, my therapist asked if I would feel comfortable dating again. I've gone on some tentative dates, starting with a practice date with my older brother. It was hilarious. He wore a dress for the first time since he was 19 and made a big show of kissing my cheek at the end of the night, and since then I've gone on a few dates. The more I think about it though, the more I think I really like my neighbor. The only issues are that she's like 4 years younger than me, I turned her down already, and she has seen me cry so hard I puked at my wife's grave. Also, I know she's bi, and has had some bad experiences with men. I understand that. I'm not a fan of men myself, and I also know she feels uncomfortable dating because of bottom dysphoria and some gross experiences with fetishists in the past. I also know she's avidly anti-military and anti-police, and while I'm not a fan of the police, especially right now, I do support the military, and I can tell she doesn't like that. On the other hand, though, I'm pretty sure I'm her type, as far as men are concerned. I'm 6 foot 3 inches, so she's shorter than me by a lot, and she's mentioned in the past liking hairy guys. I don't want to brag, but I'm pretty sure I can braid my chest hair, so I'm definitely not lacking in that department. Also, she says she likes dorky girls, and while I'm not a girl, I'm definitely a dorky guy. The only reason I started working out after college was so I could look the part of He-Man at Phoenix Comic Con. Also, she's definitely my type, especially now that she's kinda come into her own. She's pretty tall at 5 foot 10 inches, she's confident, she's funny, and her smile is brilliant. She has freckles that remind me of my wife, and outside of my therapist, she's been the single most understanding person I've talked to about everything that happened. We're also very comfortable with each other, and I feel like that would be conducive to some fun dates at the least. Finally, she knows my kids, and they love her, and that warms my heart. I guess it's the history we have that makes me nervous to ask her out. I'm not used to being at a loss, but I've been out of practice for so long that I guess I'm just looking for some advice or encouragement. Also, I'm afraid asking her out after I said no would make things weird. Also, I've never dated a trans woman before. I have been friends with many, but never dated any. I've never been opposed to it, but I got married young and with a traumatic loss. I just never really got around to dating again until recently. I don't know if the rules are different now, so to speak.